too many projects, not enough time. I'm Andrew. Here we are in the shop working on Ivy again. Most weekends through the winter and the spring and fall we do that. So this weekend we're tinkering away with a bunch of stuff. I'm still getting like lots of little odds and ends done off camera here. Today we're back onto the brakes and the brake booster and so forth. So what we have, what we've done for the brakes here is we've got the, if you remember back to the other video, I might put a tag up here, where we modified the brake pedal box to make it shorter to fit under the hood of the Series 1. And then we decided to go the Type 50 Defender non-ABS brake booster. Now the difference between the Series 3 pedal box and the Defender is the layout of the bolt up bolts on the back. Series 3 are just a square pattern as per these bolts in this adapter plate. We made this adapter plate at a friend of mine's. We machined it up. Looks pretty damn freaking nice. And it has the adapter holes for the wider spanned Type 50 and Type 80 boosters, but we're using a Type 50 because it's just a little truck. And that adapts the Series 3 to a Defender non-ABS brake booster. And this adapter plate is 1/2 inch thick because the push shaft on the back here with this connector bracket that screws on, it is adjustable in length, unlike the Series 3, which is fixed. So with this mounting bracket on the end here, which is adjustable, and the length of this, it comes out to about 1/2 inch longer anyway, that you'll need on the Series 3 bracket. So 1/2 inch thick adapter plate fixes that problem all in one. So the next thing is we've managed to get everything, all the bolt holes to bolt up to it in the adapter bracket. Now getting the booster to connect to the pedal is the next step. And what we have to do there, I'm just going to take this bracket off to make it easier so I'm not holding this big hunk. So let me bring it up a little closer here. On the Series 3 pedal, you will see if I can get the right light in here. The Series 3 just has a little flat eye that just slips in between there. The bushings in there, you can see that in there, and then the pin goes through, no big deal. It's about a 10mm pin, goes through, you put it in there. But on the Type 50, this bit here doesn't fit. So what I'm going to have to do here is trim off these bushings which are welded in. Trim them off, and this happens to fit beautifully right in between the channel, like that. So trim these bushings off with the grinder and get that to fit in there. And then the next step is, this is the 12mm holes. Close enough. I'm going metric because I want to do as much metric on this truck as I can. 12mm holes. So I will then need to, got my 12mm, instead of using a pin with a split pin on the end, like original, there's enough room in that box where I'm actually just going to use a 12mm bolt and nut. So I will have to drill these bushings out to 12mm, which there's tons of meat in there to do that. So that will work out fine, and then that will bolt through there. Now I've gone for a longer bolt than needed, so that this part of the bolt shaft here is still full and not with the threads on it, so that when that is on there, it actually has a nice shaft to rotate on without rotating on where the threads are. So I will need to trim the threads down basically to the end of where the nut is going to finish, and then all that will fit inside the pedal box. And then there's the big holes in the pedal box, so you just put your socket and do your bolt up. Just as simple as putting the pin through with the pin. Do the same job, plenty of room for it, will work out great. And I will use a nylock nut on there to stop that coming loose, so that there is no risk of losing brakes. So that's the plan. So next step, I guess, really, is to grind out these, and then after we do that, later on in the video, I will show you a trick to clean out the pivot holes up here. So once I cleaned everything, sandblasted it, painted it, blah blah blah, these were full and grimy from original, and also full of paint. So right before we assemble it, I'll show you how I clean those out. Real simple tool to make, does an excellent job. Let's get at it. Let's cut them off, and that's pretty much almost ready to reassemble there. We'll test fit it a couple of times and make any adjustments on the on this mounting bracket, on the depth of that, so everything just fits nice and perfect and snug. And away we go. Let's grab the grinder. Alright guys, so we got all that cleaned up, ground out, cleaned up, arched over a little more for a little more relief to allow this bracket to rotate fully. The hole drilled out, we got the bolt shortened, so that is also ready to go now as well. Now the last thing we got to do is say, once we clean this up and all the gunk and grime that was in there from 50-60 years of life, as well as any paint and whatnot that got into here, because we want this to have a really nice easy slide in fit for the pin to go in, so we can get the roll pin lined up to go through, which captures this in there. So what I did to clean out inside here is I simply got a bit of 1/2" OD tube. I actually had this piece already, I've done it before on a number of different things, and just cut, just with a cutting disc, cut a groove all the way along it, so that way you can put it in your drill. There we go, just capture it in your drill. And then you want just a bit of bit of sandpaper, or the metal sandpaper stuff for sanding back metal, and basically just slide that into the groove, and then wrap it around, and then you can just put that here. Let me move the camera and show you how we do that down here. Alright, then we can just take that flap of paper, slide it into the hole so it grabs, wrap it around. You just put that inside the hole, and then just spin and work that back and forth and up and down around, and that'll just polish up and clean up the hole. real good. So as simple as a bit of pipe. I mean, this is 1/2 inch to do with this one, but you can use any diameter pipe, little bit of pipe that you need. Round stock, as well as just some piece of sandpaper like that, or abrasive paper. And just put it in, spin it. Cleans out all your holes. You don't, no special tools needed. You just make your own, super quick, super easy. And then when we slide everything back in, we'll just put a thin liner, thin smear of grease on everything, or a little bit of oil, just a little lubrication. Plus that helps stop rust. And then you can put your roll pin back through as well. So if everything goes in easy, lines up, roll pin in, perfect. All right, we're just waiting for the paint to dry, and we'll reassemble. Alright, so we got those bits modified and painted up. Kind of nice shiny. Alright, so we got all these cleaned out nicely. Basically, we just put all this back together. Put that back in there. Slide it. That back into there. So much for it sliding right. There we go. Oop. Let's put a little dab of lube on there. Guess what I just did, peeps? Sharing my boo-boos. Oop. I just put it in back to front. Don't believe I just did that. So starting again, that actually even fits way better in that way. Alright, back to where we were. Perfect. Alright, so now can you guys see that in the camera there? How we lined up? I think that looks pretty lined up in there. Can you see that? All right. So off one more time, and we will tighten that up. Pop that on. Alright, a couple of 19 mils. There we go. Alright guys, one last little touch, which we will adjust eventually when we get it in the truck, is brake light switch. And that simply screws in the top, like that. As to where the ideal location is for it, who knows, but we'll adjust that once we get it in the truck when we are setting up the brakes, setting up the brake lights, the electrical. Alright guys, there we go, all set up. Next step I guess is to figure out which master cylinder we're putting on here. So thanks for coming. Next step I'm going to do today, I'm going to do it off camera, is fix the pedal box or the footwell where this mounts through, because we moved this assembly sideways about an inch a month or so ago when setting up the box and modifying it so everything fit in there. So I'm going to modify that, and that'll be it on this video for today. Thanks for coming along. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.